guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what's going to be a dupe or dud video. These are videos where I talk about a high-end product and then compare it to one that's more affordable and tell you definitively whether I think it is a dupe or a dud. It's been a long time since I've done one of these videos here on the channel, but I have actually done quite a few. I have a whole playlist of them. So if this style of video, dupe or duds, are your kind of thing, I will link them. Either click the I up here or in the description box below and you can go give them all a watch. But in today's video, as I'm sure you could tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about a brand new product from Charlotte Tilbury. She recently launched a new line called Latex Love. Basically, they look like lip glosses with a ton of opaque pigment. So I was at Sephora the other day looking at all the shades so I'd actually get a good idea of what the shades look like in person, and I ended up picking up the one called Belle du Soie. These are $34, is that right? Yes, $34 a piece. And I am no stranger to Charlotte Tilbury. I love her stuff and I have certainly shelled out the money for her products because for instance, the Film Star Bronze and Blush Glow, clearly a fan of this guy. So I certainly have and love a lot of her products and think they are totally worth the money if they're excellent at what they do. But as I was wearing this over the next few days after I bought it, I thought, this really strikes me as something similar to what I've tried before recently. And if you've been with me here recently on the channel, you might know exactly what I'm talking about because I just did a review and swatched the entire collection. They are the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit High Shine Lipstick Collection. Wet n Wild sent me the whole collection and so I did a review and then swatches on my lips of all the shades if you want to go check it out. Again, tap that I or check out the link for the description box below. But every time I wore the liquid latex, I just couldn't get the thought of how similar this looked and felt to the High Shine Liquid Catsuit collection. So I thought I'd give it a try, and in case you are new to this style of video from me, what I like or try to do in every one of these videos is on one side of my face I will wear the high-end version, on the other side I will wear the more affordable version. So let me know down below, pause the video or just at some point throughout the video, let me know what you think. Which side of my lips am I wearing which product? Let me know down below. As you're thinking on that, I'll give you a quick review of the Latex Love from Charlotte Tilbury just because it's not a formula or product I've talked about here on the channel yet. So in case you are thinking of picking it up, thought I'd give you my thoughts on it while we're at it. So this is described as a creamy, rich formula that provides a ton of pigment and long-term high shine wear. I think that is totally the case. It is entirely opaque when it goes on with one glide, as you'll be able to see here in the demo. And it really does feel nice and comfortable and cushiony on the lips throughout wear. But like any sort of high shine finish, it's not transfer proof. It definitely comes off on glasses while I'm eating food. The life of the product is definitely longer if I'm just sipping on things, and I certainly have to reapply as I'm eating, although I will say the shade that I picked, Belle du Soie, I mean, it's so close to my natural skin tone that it's less noticeable when it wears off, but there are some really bold shades in this collection, so I have a feeling if I'd had one of those, I'd find myself applying much more frequently just because the wear away would be more noticeable on my skin tone. Well, I wouldn't call them hydrating necessarily, like my lips don't feel any more moisturized after the product is worn off versus before I put it on. They certainly aren't dehydrating like glosses can sometimes be. I've talked about this before with similar formulas where when they are so creamy and opaque, sometimes I find that the pigment can separate from the actual glossy medium it's in, and it leads to weird creasing in fine lines, bleeding in fine lines, and I didn't experience that at all with this formula, which is awesome. The one thing that didn't personally bother me, but bothered my mom, we actually got the same product, same shade. It has a very strong scent, and I didn't really notice a taste, but my mom did, and she wasn't a fan. It didn't stop her from wearing it, but I think if you have sensitivities to scent or fragrance, you just don't like them or they irritate your skin, you might give this a second thought just because it is pretty strong and pretty noticeable upon first application. But beyond that, I really like this formula. I mean, it's obviously similar to something I've tried before, so I like it. I would recommend it. If you're considering checking out this collection and you find a shade that really strikes you and you don't mind paying the cost of the product, definitely check it out. However, if you're looking for something similar, I think I have a pretty good alternative for you. So like I mentioned earlier, they are the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit High Shine Lipsticks. Now I couldn't find a shade that matched the Belle du Soie from Charlotte Tilbury exactly. So you see in the swatches, the first one I have is the Charlotte Tilbury, and then I go in next with the shade Send Nudes. I thought this would be the closest, but it is a little bit cooler, a little bit more brown toned, and really lacked the peachy pinkiness peachiness that Belle du Soie has. So then I followed it up with another shade that looked kind of similar, which is Peach Stole My Look. And standalone, Peach Stole My Look is far too peachy to be a dupe for Belle du Soie. However, when you combine these two shades together, I think it makes a pretty similar shade, as you can see on my lips today. On the left, I am wearing the Charlotte Tilbury, and on the right, my right, it's just like this, how I'm holding them right now. I have the Wet n Wild over here. I think they look very, very similar. Obviously, the comparison between the two is gonna vary depending upon how you mix these two from Wet n Wild, what portion of peach to nude you mix together. But they come out pretty similar, and obviously in terms of opacity and high shine wear, they look nearly identical. They feel identical on the lips. They wear exactly the same. And so overall, if you are contemplating this from Charlotte Tilbury, but maybe wanting more of a low-cost alternative, the scent isn't your thing here, consider checking out the Wet n Wild. These are a little over $5 individually, so for a little over 10 bucks, you have a similar shade at a third of the price. And even if you do love the Charlotte Tilbury, these are limited editions, so when the day comes they fly off the shelves and never to be seen again, at least now you have an alternative in the Wet n Wild, because I'm pretty sure these are permanent, at least for the foreseeable future anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful in case you were considering either of these formulas, helping you make a shade match. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the other shades from the Charlotte Tilbury collection, so I can't make a comparison there, but just generally, if you're interested in this kind of high shine, glossy, high pigmentation formula, the Wet n Wild is a good one to look at the range for if you want to get the look for less. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.